and welcome to another episode of the Savvy Singers TV, where we educate, empower, and entertain. Today, I have a power duo on set, a mother and daughter team. And, families have been taking a hit, during the course of time, and we're seeing the strain of parenting, single parenting, fathers not taking their roles, delinquent children. We are still working out the pandemic, and family has really been getting a hit. So today we want to speak to this beautiful, beautiful team. The song, "Isn't She Lovely?" Well, are they so beautiful? They look so fine. Fashionistas in their own right. So please welcome, thank you so much, Joanne O'Gara and Djennicia Francis on set with me. Your business into the fashion industry, an author. Awesome. We're going to get a chance to talk about that in just a bit. So we really want to zero in on family and the importance of family and the unit of family from a biblical perspective. And your role as mom and daughter, how does that roll out? So we want to kick off with Joanne as the mommy around the table.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
So excited.
Yes.
But getting to the topic, being a mom, it's not something that I knew beforehand, but it's something I learned along the way.
Awesome.
My mom died when she was 9 days old, so I did not have that mother figure or someone to actually help me. Right. So I had to learn things along the way. And back then, I don't even think I knew of any books or any manuals or who to go and ask. I just figured things out along the way, trial and error.
Right.
But thankfully, I had more successes than I had defeats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, God has truly blessed me because she, to me, from day one, has been a perfect child.
Oh.
Shucks. She has always been. Honestly, I tell people, listen, when she was a baby, I had to check her to change her, time her to feed her. She slept
She was
all
one of the
through.
crying babies.
She was a suck finger baby.
Okay.
She came out the boom finger and mother had to literally to take it out. She cried for a second, put it back.
Right.
And that is how she was all right through her childhood.
Yes.
And that finger kept her company, kept her quiet. It provided nourishment, it provided food, it provided me peace and silence and everything. So I did not make any attempt to stop her from sucking the finger because it worked.
And then, because you are learning as you go,
Of
you
course.
will take any form of comfort.
Yes.
And the Lord smiled on you.
I know. But the thing is, from early, while I was her mother, yes, I also became her best friend.
Okay.
So I knew when she needed a friend and when she needed a mother. I was always able to differentiate.
Wow.
And I was there for her, like, all the time, for everything. I don't think she has any accomplishment or any defeats that I was not there for.
Right.
I made it my business to be present.
Awesome.
As difficult as it may have been at times, I made it my business to be present. Because I figured that she needed someone to be there. She needed a friend, she needed guidance. And while I was quite young and I myself needed guidance, I did not let that faze me.
Okay.
I did what I needed to do, and voila.
Ta-da!
So Denise, as mom passed it on to you, so tell us in growing up and understanding mom's role, and she said that you all became best friends.
Yes.
How was it for you? Because as a younger person, you might say, okay, mom, ease me up a little bit.
No.
So tell us.
I never had a point in my life where I thought mom eased me up a little bit.
Right.
For my entire life, I preferred to have my mom around.
Wow.
So my mom did what I think is one of the best things you could do for somebody, is allow them to be themselves. So I am inquisitive, I am talkative. God knows at some point I did not have a cover for my mouth, but my mother was always that person who would guide that instead of trying to snuff it out. So
Okay.
my mom allowed for me to fail and come to her.
Right.
And that is essential because a lot of children are failing, but because when they go to their parents, they're being berated, they tend to pull away from that. So now they're failing, and instead of going to an adult that could help them, they're trying to fix it themselves and then failing worse and getting themselves in deeper problems. So I think in creating that safe space for me, that is how my mom did me the greatest justice that she could. Because as she said, I really wasn't too much of a fretty child, and I wasn't a fretty teenager. She told me I never gave her any trouble. So yeah, I was never any of those things. But what I needed was what she gave, a space that I can develop on my own, or a space that I can develop comfortably and confidently. That is the best part. And that's how she became my best friend. So when I was an adolescent and my friends wanted to go on some random road trip at some point in the evening, I would be the one to call my mom and say, hey mom, so-and-so wants to go so-and-so place, can I go? Yeah, sure, you can go, no problem. So while my friends are nervous in the back, if anything happened, oh gosh, mommy don't know I came here, my daddy doesn't know I left the house, or whatever the case is, I was rocking back comfortable and happy because my mother was fully aware where I was. And I never got how someone can be so afraid to speak to their parents until I got older and recognized that not everyone had the same privilege that I did of having a mom that you can speak to, that you can fail in front of, that you can do things that even you wonder what was happening in your head during that period of your life. And still have somebody who cared enough about you to not judge.
I think, you know, what you said earlier, and you could elaborate a little bit about that and the importance of it. You said it by passing, you were present, all right? And we are in an age now where parenting or parents are not so much present. All right, they because of the busyness of schedules, and you have to hold on 2-3 jobs, and you have to do all these different things. They're not present, but they give you things to replace that. But we are speaking about the importance of that. How was that important to you in your growing up?
That was fundamental to me because being a single mom, I knew that my mom didn't always have the finances. People tend to think that children don't know, but we are aware. We can see when you're having a hard time. We can see when you're not happy. We sense the energies that everything is not okay. But that mattered to me far less when I realized that I had my mom there. Yeah, my mom was there. So even now, because I'm a teacher right now. So even if I am speaking to parents, if I'm speaking to adults as it pertains to children, I can't help but emphasize the importance of just being there. Because you can break a toy. You can lose a new shoe. A shoe falls apart. And when you look back at your childhood, what do you really like? If all of us as adults really look back on our childhood, do we think, that toy I lost when I was 5 years old, oh, darn it. No, you look
Mom and
back.
Daddy was never there.
Yes, you hear that. Mom and Dad wasn't there. Or you hear that I have great memories with my mom. I have wonderful interactions with my dad. Those are the things that tend to stay in people's mind.
Imprints.
Yes, those are the imprints. And those also what help shape us, because I'm learning now that the experiences you had in your childhood shape how you experience the world as adults, because it's all perspective. So when families are actually present, it changes the way that child then approaches relationship, because they know what it's like to have someone there for them. It's how the difference in how they approach hardships, because they understand that if I feel, I have people right here for me. People who know that they have a great support system, and it's always great when it starts with your parents. They are more willing to go out there and try things. Because they recognize that if they're falling, they're not falling alone, they're not falling far, because that person, that pillar.
We are touching some important stuff right there, because, you know, and I want you to pick it up from there, because even in leadership, You give way for those that you are mentoring to make mistakes
Yes.
and shape the perspective that we have. We have this negative connotation on failure. All right, and I think sometimes it's even in our educational systems. You know, you get
Yes.
all these X's.
Yeah.
Or if you get it right, you get the star. Very good. So people, from a childhood, you don't want to fail. You understand? But failure is part of the process.
Failure is part of the
and
process.
I want you to speak to, you know, being a single parent. You know, and there are those that are looking at us.
Okay.
And we say, okay, well, we don't have this, we don't have that. Daddy not around, I ain't get any money, and the child support, and all these different dynamics pulling in. But you made it work. You made it work.
My focus was never on the fact that her father wasn't around. My focus was that I was around.
Right.
And that I needed to do all that I can possibly do to ensure that I raise a proper functioning adult.
That's important.
A
Proper functioning adult. Because that's the thing. When you as a parent don't do what you need to do, you raise an adult that terrorizes society.
Wow.
And
we're
I was
seeing so
trying to
much of this.
avoid that. Mind you, I grew with her because I didn't know a lot of things, and I had to learn it to be able to teach it
Right.
to her.
Yeah.
So she would ask questions. I never said I didn't know. I would say, "Let me find out,"
Right. Right.
and I would go
and you
I would
won't
find out.
ashamed
I wasn't-
to say, let me find
No,
out.
no. The thing is, I don't even think at any point in time I had anything called shame. Because when you give birth to a little human, your responsibility is to that little human.
Right.
You have to take a little back seat, not all the way back, but a little back seat to give them a chance to flourish. I remember having to leave one of my most favorite jobs because it was taking so much of my time away from her.
Wow.
If I had stayed, I would have probably been in management position by now because it was amazing. But we had terrible working hours. It was a shift system. As a matter for 2 days or 3 days, I wouldn't see her. Even when I come home, I'd be so tired that I didn't have the time to spend it with her, and I left it.
Wow.
It hurt me to leave it, but I knew it would have hurt me a lot more if I neglected my child.
Right.
So I left it. I took a job that was paying less, that wasn't as much fun, because I know my responsibility is to her. I never left it to anyone else. I tell people, I say, listen, although I had a support system, I never quite relied on them because my responsibility was mine.
Right.
It was mine. And I never made her father a focal point. I never made him an issue. I never ill-spoke him. I never did anything along that line. She never grew up hating her father. She never grew up disliking her father. She never grew up hating that.
Because you did not spew that.
No.
You did not
I did not.
communicate that.
If she had something planned and he was supposed to come, he didn't come, I would make an excuse. Because my responsibility was to her and make sure that her psyche was stable. You understand? So I didn't focus on creating any toxic environment for her.
Awesome.
I didn't do that because oftentimes we, as parents, single parents, we get so caught up in our emotions that we forget that we have a little person looking listening,
on,
and
learning.
emulating
Yes.
and learning. You understand?
Yes,
So I didn't focus on that. I minded my business, which was making sure that I raised, again, a functional adult in society.
I just love
Because
how she put it.
the thing is, because sometimes we oftentimes raise liabilities. And it doesn't necessarily mean as a single parent, you could have two parents and still raise a liability.
True.
Because you are so focused in your life or what you have to do that you neglect or forget or just don't care that you have a little human raising, because that's what they are, little humans.
Right. And before we get into your book and you did fashion and stuff, one of the things that you hit there, and sometimes the parents themselves go about, because I don't want my children to go through what I went through. you know, that syndrome. So I'm trying to protect them from certain things. So I'll try to
Wasn't even
give
that.
them what they need. I'll try to provide, you know, everything else, so kind of shelter them. What's your reality to that, and how do you speak to young ones, youth, about that, the siblings and stuff like that?
Well, me personally, I did not, in fact, I could not shower her with all the things that she needed in terms of the brands and the fancy things, and sometimes we didn't even have food. Sometimes we'd buy one bread and make one bread last as long as we could. And we would eat bread and peanut butter if necessary, bread and butter for the whole week.
That's right.
You understand? But to me,
Sacrifice.
once we had something to eat, that was good, because all of that wasn't even my focus. My focus was making sure that I raised a person who was functional. Because it is so easy to make a mistake. And sometimes one error could destroy this child's entire life.
That's right. That's right.
So I was so focused on making sure that I didn't ruin her. Because she's still a little egg for me. She's always been my egg. Always.
I'm a poop.
You know, so I was so focused on making sure that I didn't break her psychologically or break her emotionally, because even with finance, you could get that. You could get money. You don't come, you could get that. But once you damage that psyche, whoo,
That's harder to heal.
that is harder to heal.
So Djennicia, now you are a functioning.
I'm on my way to being fully functioning.
You are an author. All
Yes,
right?
I
Tell
am.
us the name of the book and why it was written. Yeah, so give us some insight about it.
Okay, so my book is entitled In the Mirror, Positive Affirmations for Children. And why it was written actually speaks very much into what you just said
Exactly.
about mental health. I'm a psych student. That's what my degree is in. And I'm also an educator. So I work with children, I work with people, and I've always been a people watcher. So I observe people. And you see a lot of people functioning very unhealthily. They're functioning in that they are getting things done, but they're not happy. They have no confidence. They have no self-respect. They have no self-esteem. They don't know how to deal with difficult situations. They have no emotional intelligence. It's just the way it is because we don't focus enough on mental health.
Yes.
So one morning in prayer, actually, it came to me that I can write a series of books dedicated to teaching children positive mental health practices, because once children have the foundation, they can go ahead and utilize it as they get older when things really start coming their way.
Wow.
The first book that came from that is this one, Positive Affirmations for Children, because we have to start by teaching people how to properly speak to and about themselves.
Wow.
We affirm every day, every second of every day. The difference is some are positive, as in productive and inspirational, while others are negative and they pull you down. Think about how we operate in Trinidad and Tobago. You make a mistake, oh God, I do this, eh? We very rarely say that was a stupid decision.
Right.
But I am intelligent and I am capable of fixing and changing that decision. But everything that we say to ourselves, our brain records, and then we start acting through that lens. So if you tell yourself you're stupid, you're less likely to try as it pertains to your schoolwork because you think, I'm incapable of doing that. Wow. But if you tell yourself, I'm intelligent, I am powerful, I can do anything I put my mind to do, you are now telling your brain, okay, something comes my way, then let's get it done.
Right.
And I believe that we need to teach children the power in their words so that they now have the ability to motivate themselves.
Yes.
And the best thing about the book is that it also comes with activities for the classroom and for home with the parents. So that way, in every setting that the children are in, and they get to interact with the adults in their life, because we know children mirror adults. So it's different with them reading a book that says do the affirmations versus their parent or their teacher bringing them to a mirror or everybody in the class sitting together and they're saying the affirmations and they're doing all the actions associated with it, because we can't say I am confident.
Power words, yeah.
No, we have to say I am confident. No attitude.
And that leads into the description that tells us, you know, there's power of life and death is in the
tongue. Yes,
All
it
right,
comes
that we have to
directly
speak.
from that.
Awesome.
life and death is in the power of the
awesome,
tongue.
awesome.
The scriptures knew what they were saying, you know.
Definitely, just for us to tap into it.
Yeah, we just took too long to catch up on the trend, but the scriptures said it from the jump.
Nice.
And as it pertains to what I have to say about young persons, I learned from my mom's experience without her trying to teach me that what she went through isn't what I want to go through. And to me, there is a lot of wisdom that can be gained from vicarious education.
That's right.
I saw that my mom had a hard time. So I know in my state right now, where I am not in a strong financial situation yet, because I'm still becoming a functional adult, I'm not going to put myself in that position right now.
Right.
And I think that that's something that a lot of young people didn't take away from their experiences in youth. They would have seen that their parents had a hard time and still not make the necessary decisions to create better for future generations. So she did what she could to put me at a further level as she will at that age. Now it's my duty to take that on to our next generation to do what I can for me, so that my future children can be in a better place than I was, and so on and so forth.
Awesome.
So that's something I really think we should look into, guys.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Djennicia. Oh my God. This is really awesome stuff that is happening here. So I want to go into the fashion, your business, the ensemble.
And both ensembles.
Both ensembles.
Wow.
The thing is, in her growing up, like I said, I left myself undone.
Right.
And like I said, I learned a lot raising her. When she started pageantry, my friend convinced me to start pageantry too.
Same day.
So we both started pageantry at the same time,
Wow.
on the same date.
Wow.
But
You really go through your life together, dude.
we do.
That's
we
my
do.
homie. That's my home slice.
But as time progressed, now pageantry is quite costly.
Yes.
It's quite costly.
We did pageant on a budget.
But the thing is, I am creative. I just love working with my hands.
Yes.
So you find along the way, we may not have been able to purchase all the things. I say, you know what, I'm going to make it.
Yes.
So I learned to do hair. I learned to do nails. I learned to do makeup. I learned to design and sew and all these different things. And I'm like, yes, because I mean, we need the things to win the show or to qualify or to even look the part.
Right.
But we didn't have the finances to support.
Right.
But I thank God for Jesus and the creative mind that He has placed in me. I mean, sometimes things happen to take you to a certain place.
Yes.
So all of that, God put all of that to take us, to bring us to the place where we are now.
Works all things
All
out for the
things,
good.
all
work
things out
together
for the
for
good.
good.
So, and the thing is, after pageantry, because we're still into pageantry, but then I have branched off to fashion designing because 1, I love the runway. 2, I love to show off. 3, I love to look good. 4, I like other people to look good and teach other people how to show off.
Fundamentals
so
of life.
I'm all into that. You know, I tell people I like to look fly.
You like to look fly.
And I like flair.
Right.
And fun.
Right. And she's a testimony.
And all this.
of
Yeah,
that,
I mean.
right?
I mean. And now that she's grown,
Right, you can take care of you. You
it's
can
mama
focus.
time. It's mommy time. It's
Right.
mommy
I was waiting
time.
for that punch.
I tell people, listen.
doesn't take me
I
on
tell people,
anymore,
listen.
yeah.
I have a child. My name is Young. I know Young. So I'm living. So I am living.
Right.
You understand? And then I kind of stumbled into doing business with it because first I was doing it just for myself and for her.
Right.
And someone saw something that I made and asked me to make one for them, which I did. I wasn't going to charge, but then they asked, and what's the cost? And then I thought, wow, she wants to pay me.
Right, so I can do this.
And that's how I can do it. And then I gave her a price and she paid. And I tell people that I am usually my model.
Right.
Because when I make things, people see it, like it, and ask for one like it.
Yes.
Including my jewelry. I make my jewelry as well.
Nice.
You know, so-
Nice.
And they see it, they ask it, and I make it.
Awesome.
And at first it wasn't, I don't know. At first it wasn't even a business idea. But then eventually I was like, okay, you don't like working for people. You get a chance to be on your own clock and you get to be creative.
Right.
And then the Bible said your gifts will make room for you.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, Lord, I hear you.
Yeah, right. Awesome, awesome,
I'm like,
awesome, awesome,
I'm
awesome.
like, I hear you.
Yes, and we have to wrap up on that. You know, unfortunately, thank you all so much for joining us. I know you have more to give. I know you have
I
more
do.
to give. So maybe we'll bring you back on the set to do
Not a
some
problem.
more, right?
But what I want to say is, if you need to get in contact
Yes,
with me,
tell us.
you can. Should I give you my phone number? Yes. 335-1039.
Right.
Mayundo by Joanne Ogaro. You can call or you can WhatsApp.
Right. And we're putting some information on the show, all right, on how to get your book and that kind of stuff, right? So thank you, ladies, for bringing your perspective and your journey with us. Again, we are here, wrap-up time on the Savvy Singers TV show. Thank you for bringing us into your space. Remember, every Sunday, right here, 4 p.m., with lovely persons like this
Ta-da!
family. We want to say bye.
Bye.
We love you guys.